Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome and welcome back. My name is Devance Ogweno and this is Devance Empire. I am a Kenyan YouTuber based in Nairobi, and it's such an honor to have you watch and listen to me through this video. God bless you. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell to always receive an alert of every video that we do upload in our YouTube channel. This video today that I want to share with you is one of an emotional one, but then it's not any more emotional because the past is gone and the current has come. So we have to live strong, knowing that tomorrow we still have life to live and we still need energy to move and maneuver each and every day. Today, I want to share with you the impact of Corona since it landed in my country, Kenya. And most particularly, I'm going to narrow it onto myself. I'm going to share with you my story. Well, everybody has something to say about Corona, whether good or bad. Whether you're rich or poor, whether you are an orphan or not, everyone has something to say about it. Many people have lost their jobs. Many families have lost their homes. Those who are employed today are no longer employed. Many people have gone back up country because they couldn't manage to stay in the city anymore. But then, everyone has something to say about this disease. Now, let me share with you mine. When Corona started in Kenya here, rumor had gone round and we had convinced ourselves that this is a disease that only affects the white community. Yes, when I talk about the white, I mean the Europeans, the Chinese. It is only supposed to affect them, those who stay in environments that are full of cold weather. So we were also meant to believe that in Africa, this virus would not survive. This is because of the high temperatures in Africa. And so this one sunk deep into our minds and we got so relaxed knowing that this is not a killer disease in Africa, that it is just a disease like any other disease, maybe like a common flu that will just come and go, you understand? But then we were so wrong. Wait until that disease got into Kenya. In the month of, is it February or March, when the government announced that Corona is in our country and people have to be very careful. Now, people were not so scared at first because it didn't look like a big issue until when the government started testing people and also announcing and releasing results of those people who were found with the COVID virus, and also those who died because of this virus. So the moment people noticed that Africans are dying out of this disease, there was a very good reason to get scared. It is at this point that the government decided to lock the counties that were highly affected by this virus. And that meant NAIROBI, Mombasa, and is it Marsabit? No, Mandera, I don't know. There are 3 counties that were placed on compulsory lockdown for 3 months. And this is the time when everything became worse. By the government locking these counties, it meant that there was no movement in and out of these counties. So food became expensive. Many people were laid off their jobs because the government also said people should practice social distancing. Everyone should have a mask. Hotels were supposed to be closed. Bars were closed. Churches were closed. Market areas were closed. And how were people supposed to survive? Right inside your house. That was the safest place to stay. But little did we know that it was going to be the most dangerous place to ever stay. Imagine a family staying in a house. They have to eat each and every day, but the markets are closed, you've lost your job, you have to stay home, some businesses are not even working out well, but then you have to feed your family. How are you going to manage? You see, I was not left out. At this time, I am an artist. I work in the entertainment field as a producer. We produce music for people, and our main clients are musicians and artists. When the country was placed on lockdown and social distance was given the first priority, then even musicians could not come to record their music. What this meant was that me as a producer, I could not continue working anymore. We had to lock our business and go back home. And once we were home, I didn't have any other option to put food on the table because I was fully depending on music production as an audio producer. Now that the government had banned social gatherings and musicians had nowhere to perform, so they didn't see any need to release new songs. People went home, many people were home. I closed my job, and then trouble increased even more. One day, my landlord comes demanding for rent. I don't have even money to feed myself in this house. McHugh, at this particular time, other friends of mine also came to seek refuge at my place. And all this time, we were the three of us. None of us had any job. We really had to struggle to even put food on the table. Remember, in Nairobi, you have to buy food, you have to buy water, you have to pay for electricity, you have to pay for almost everything. And at this time, everything was so expensive and so tricky on us. Let me tell you guys, when the landlord came that he wanted his rent, I felt like God was not being fair to me at all, because everything is clear. It's indicating so well that we do not have jobs right now. People are home. Corona has made the government place us on lockdown. We cannot move anywhere. When you try making phone calls, everyone has a complaint, everyone has an issue. Everyone is complaining about bills and what and what and what. So no one was willing to give out money to anyone else. No one was even willing to lend you money. You see, it was so difficult. Loaning companies could not give us loans anymore because they didn't want to risk knowing that you won't pay. I bent so low, I went to the caretaker. A caretaker is somebody who takes care of a plot or a rental premise on behalf of the landlord. So I went to this caretaker, who happens to be the sister to the landlord, and I begged her from the bottom of my heart. I told her, "Mom, listen to me. I know you know me as a tenant, but today I want to open up to you even more. Mom, you see that house that I stay in? That is all that I have for myself. That is the only thing that I have registered under my name. If you take it away from me, if you lock it today, if you allow auctioneers to come and auction my property, then I'm finished. I am so finished. Mom, right now I have no job. I am an artist. We've locked our studio for the past 3 months. I have no other way to feed myself. I am in the house with my 2 brothers. Where are we going to go to if you lock this door for us? Where are we going to lay our heads?" And I made sure I spoke to her to an extent of asking her for a job. I told her, "Give me a job. Just employ me to sweep this building. Let me sweep and clean it each and every day as a way of allowing me stay under your premises. Let me sweep, mop the staircase, the verandas. Let me ensure hygiene in this building." I spoke to her my heart. And when I was done, she told me she's going to speak to the brother who is our landlord, and then she'll give me a feedback. So in my heart, I knew things were going to work out well. The following day, she calls me and tells me, "Devance, I spoke to the landlord, but unfortunately, he didn't accept your plea. He said that everyone has to pay rent because he himself is also paying for the loans that he took to build this plot. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but you have to pay your rent or leave. I was so confused. I didn't know what to do or what to say. It was at that moment that I left my house and went to stay in the studio where I used to stay. Now, where our studio was located, I want you to also know that this studio was not mine. I was working in this studio. The owner of the studio was also locked out of Nairobi during this 3 months period of lockdown in Kenya. So he was home, no work at all, nothing is happening in the studio. So I felt this was the safest place for me to stay. And since I was given a notice that auctioneers were supposed to come and take my things so that the landlord can recover their money, I had to go to the studio and start ferrying my things one after the other so that they wouldn't notice that I was actually transferring my things out of the place. Because the moment they noticed, it will be a police case. So each and every day, I would make sure I've carried one item or the other. So I started with my computers because those are what also helped me bring money and also pay my bills. After carrying my computers, I noticed somebody, the watchman was trying to recognize some of my movements, trying to move things from the house, and I pulled back a little. So I involved my friends to help me carry my things from my house. So they helped me carry my property from the house, most of the property that they could carry. And later, the caretaker called me on the same day. He asked me, Devance, haven't you found any way that you can pay your rent bills? And I told her, not yet, I haven't found. And she told me, you know, I sat down and thought for a moment that it won't be a good thing to take away all your things. From the conversation that you had with me earlier on, I want you to come and pick what you can pick from your house before the auctioneers get to this place. Since I was scared, I thought it was a setup. I thought she had already noticed that I was transferring my things out of that house, so she was calling me so I could get arrested. I had to lie to her that I am not in Nairobi. I told her I had already left Nairobi to go back home to go start life once again. And the funny part about this, she didn't get mad. She told me, if you have some of your friends, send them to come and pick what they can pick from your house so they can save your property. The auctioneers are almost here. And quickly I made a phone call to my friends who went to help me. So they carried what they could carry, and what they couldn't, they left behind, so that is what the auctioneers would find and sell to recover some part of their money for the days I'd spent in their house there. I want you to know that I had not paid rent for over 3 months. 3 months. So I lost my house that way. I lost my house, and whatever I couldn't carry was sold, and I had to pick up myself once again. As I am making this video, it doesn't mean that things have become smooth already. No, things are still tough, but we have to struggle as much as possible as we can to survive. God has been faithful, because a few months later, YouTube started paying me. And from my YouTube earnings, I've managed to, reduce my debts, the debts that I had because of Corona. I have managed to survive. I've managed to put food on the table to pay for my bills and what have you. Because God never forsakes those who call upon Him in times of need. God has been faithful. Trust me. There are so many other people who got into worse and serious situations more than myself. But for me, I must be grateful because God protected me. Imagine during this time, I didn't have a house, I didn't have food. All the people I could depend on were not around. My uncle, who also happens to be a doctor and also has his own family, that is where I was seeking my refuge from. They provided me with food, and I ate what I wanted because they allowed me. For housing, I thank my producer so much. My producer, John Okidi, who happens to be my mentor, the man who has taught me to be independent in life, the man who gave me my first computer to start my hustling with, the man who taught me audio production free of charge. I want to thank him so much. He has been there for me year in, year out. We have no blood relation with him, but he has taken care of me like his own child. He has fed me. He has provided for me all the times and periods that I have known him. God bless you so much. And many other friends who are there for me in times of my need. Now, as I end this video, I want to give you hope that yesterday is gone. Today has come. We have to believe to make ends meet. We have to believe to survive. We have to put our trust on God to see tomorrow. Do not give up. Do not tire. Do not stop doing good, even if you don't see it paying back. Give, and it shall come back to you. And until next time, this is Devance Empire. End of discussion.